Okay, part 2, mission 2. So basically, yes, we're now back at our mission planet, and we're going to go and land here. Again, filmed in 2x speed. Amazingly, it actually makes every game look pretty cool. I was watching a bit of DayZ earlier, which was sped up to, I think, 4x speed, and it was actually pretty good. So if you get a chance to do it, well worth it for the laughs. Just some comments, I guess, further about the game. This was one of those games I think that really didn't. It inspired, I think, a huge amount of stuff that followed it, but it didn't really hit. They followed up with a game called Captive 2 Liberation, which was, I think, an absolute push of the technology. So this, you know, as you see here, this kind of RPG with lots of optics and devices and little modules and widgets. I mean, it really was ahead of its time when you look at now what kind of dashboarding is going on with games and stuff like that. I think this is just visionary, really. So yeah, I think with they released their follow-up Liberation, and it really didn't do very well. It was almost a bit too ambitious because of the you know, the push more so from, you know, 2D sprites, which you see here, more to 3D wireframe animations and so on, which at the time, I think the Amiga at the time rather was going through a bit of a renaissance, trying to, you know, find its way. I think the CD Amiga 32 was also just on the cusp of that, and it's kind of typical because I think a lot of the good games that are designed are then kind of hampered and hindered by platforms, the technology behind them. So you know, Mega CDs and all that good stuff. So I think, you know, Liberation 2 was a very good game. In fact, I can't even find it, so I'd love to do a video on it, but I just cannot get hold of it anywhere. So I'd love to though, because I thought it was just an absolutely amazing game. And unlike this, I mean, I played this to my, you know, to the absolute death because it was just so good. But with the Liberation Captive 2, I just never really found the time to do it. So yeah, if anyone knows where I can get a copy of it, please let me know, that'd be awesome. So what we're doing here is we're just basically killing the wildlife. I'll keep going on hold because I think while I was filming this, I kept getting messaged by like 110 different people. We're looking for an EVE Online corporation at the moment, and we've had some quite good feedback from the video you may have seen. We've done linked to this, but again, you know, this is the thing, this is the joy of maybe doing a YouTube channel, is that you do kind of just, you know, get the ability just to sort of, I don't know, do stuff you've not done for a long time. And I think particularly with Captive, this has always been one of those games that I always come back to. It's like, you know, my brother found his old Amiga, I don't know what model, but it was really old, and we got it working again on that. But I find that you generally come back to these kind of games because, you know, a fond memory and all that. And part of me, you know, kind of does this video channel, I guess, because, you know, when I'm like 5-10 years in the future, you know, and hopefully YouTube isn't gone, I'll be able to look back, I think, on some of these things. Because whereas before I would have got the Amiga out again and played this game, I can just actually now just pretty much watch the video and get the same enjoyment. So that's another reason why I kind of do it, I guess. Okay, so as we get to this point, we're just basically walking around zapping everyone. I don't know if that electric hand thing is actually as designed. I suspect there's a slight bug there. I know on the Amiga version you only had a limited blast of those things, but on this version, for some reason, we have it basically is just a death ray of doom that slices stuff in half. Buying optics here, just bought a mapper and a infrared. Infrared becomes useful later on. The mapper is particularly useless. I never was very good at understanding the top-down mentality, but I play a lot of Minecraft, so I think I understand the blocky maps a bit more. So we'll certainly look at that a bit later. As you can see, the ag scan's still working. Again, pretty decent optic. I think that's one you'll use all the way through the game, because it's always good to know what damage you're doing. And you can see here a lot of I think the joy of this game was things like you just saw that sliding wall. Well, I always laugh because when this game came out, they used to get, like, you know, back then when you had Games Master and all that, they used to ask the magazines, how do I get past this and how do I get past that? It's because, quite frankly, the game was so, you know, I'm not going to say badly designed, but it could have been better. You know what I mean? It's just a wall, you know, a wall that's on rollers. That's not a naturally occurring concept. So I think it's a difficult thing to try and sharing a game. And there's a few things in this. I mean, it's funny because if you pick up anything and then with a charged hand, you also destroy it, which is always great when you pick up like your arm, or you try to recharge your chest and you actually pick up your arm and you blow your arm up, which just, if there's no shop nearby, you're screwed. And the best part of it is you'll see maybe when we go into the inventory screen in just a moment. Hopefully I'll show that. You see you have a chip, a personality chip, because obviously you're robots. And I once picked up one of them with a charged hand and it destroyed that. And that is actually completely irreplaceable. So I think I lost a good few days worth of playtime with that. But hey, that's my own fault. You see here, you see you pick up a chest and you charge it. So yeah, basically just cruising around, killing stuff, trying to get the mapper to work, and it's just absolutely unfathomable. So I didn't bother in the end. There's some really good websites, by the way. I don't know if you see the dice there. I bought a dice, or maybe I found it. It actually has a secret function of telling you which buttons to press in the coded 4 corner doors, which is good. Also, we're about to see probably one of the best weapons in the game, which is apparently gravity. Oops, if I don't fall asleep. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. Basically, you can actually go up a ladder and let a monster come below you, and as long as that monster is then trapped by other monsters, you then can drop down on his head and destroy him, which is just incredibly funny. So you see there, I've just destroyed that guy, just killed him with one hit. And you'll probably see me do this tactic quite a lot as I go through the various missions. So yeah, I mean, basically, I think there's such a charm to this game, and I guess it's because it is 2D sprites, and I know it looks so old and dated, but I'm kind of a function guy before a visual guy, and I think a lot of the desire of a game is that it actually entertains you. And I think it's things like, I don't know if you've played Dwarf Fortress. Absolutely impossible game to play if you're a visual kind of person, but if you actually can look beyond the characters and letters of the game, or even if you use a skin, maybe sometimes that helps. You have probably one of the best management games I've ever seen, and it's all completely let's see, I just kept falling asleep there by clicking the button. Not good. Basically, it's just one of the best games you could ever play, because it's just all of the effort, if you like, of the game development has actually gone into the function, the basics behind the game. So and I think there's not enough of that, because I think there's some really quite frankly amazing games out there that you probably have never played, because they don't really grab headlines and they don't get played by millions of people. They get played by maybe tens of thousands of people. And I think certainly where Minecraft came from, if you're familiar with that, it's an indie game, but it's got to be one of the most played games in the world, and it's on pretty much most players know it. And that all comes from just a very good idea. And again, graphics are pretty, crap, to be honest, because it's all, pixelated and that. But that's the joy of it. But I think this is why Captive to me works so well. If you get past the rather shoddy graphics, because it's old, you do have an incredibly detailed and kind of complex game. And I think there's not enough of these. I mean, I always look at Elite as well. If you look at the old games like Elite, again, not great graphics, but the scale of it was just amazing, And if you look at like the remakes like Frontier, you've got a game with something like 100,000 star systems, all of which you can visit. So that's amazing, really, when you think about it. All right, let's keep beating up these little guys. Again, I know I'm cheating. I know. Don't tell me. I know. But it's just so useful that like laser beam stuff. It's very good. Okay, let's see, where did I get to here? Right, so I think at this point we're now starting to get into the new weapons. So we're starting to see blades coming through. Tricky really, because blades have a limited use. They've got a very close range, and frankly they're not very good. But it's still going to be a while before I think handguns are in the game. I think it's the next level when they maybe start to appear, but even then they're not going to be the very good ones. So I think what I do is I probably focus on fire axes, because they're the best and they've got a bit of range. But yeah, again, I'd love to know the design behind this game, because it's like you've got a guy there who's kind of all in green and he's kind of a floating weird guy. What's he, security? What's that about? And you got like little munchkins here with spades. What are they doing in a function stone, and technologically created area? I don't know where they put, maybe it started as a completely different game, and let's have gnomes in it with little spades, and then all of a sudden they realised they were making a space opera. There's a good optic there. You can see we've got the body scan that shows you then the damage of the various characters, which is good. And again, just scaling up now, you can see here we're trying to get the fire axis going. Little icon next to the fire axe says it's just not, I've not got the skill to use it yet. That'll probably be the next one, but I'm going to go, I generally do this, I usually go with the fire axes just because I think it's best just to go with them. The light blade is like a lightsaber, but believe me, it's nothing, doesn't hit like one, so I'm just going to avoid that. And then I'm just going to probably put all of my skill points from that point into handguns and so on, because at the moment only my front two guys can actually hit. So after time, once the back people have then got handguns, I then have fire axes and handguns. So that's a good mix of the two. So let's keep charging up. And again, I love it. I love the fact that you have to actually charge your robots. I just think it's amazing. And you can buy batteries and things like that eventually kind of do it quicker and all that. But I just think it's just the detail. It's the level of detail, and you can usually tell a good product because they put the detail into it. It doesn't matter how maybe incredibly good looking it is. It's more about what's the sizzle. You know what I mean? It's like we've talked about this a lot lately. It's more it's never necessarily just the product, it's the sizzle that you sell it by. So if you're going to sell a sausage, you sell the sizzle, not the sausage. And I think, again, it's a weird metaphor, but go with me on it, because really you're selling, the nice feature of it. And I think really games like this and Dungeon Master and that, they had, I just keep pressing that button, that's not good. They just had a real charm to them because maybe of the depth that went into it. So, my camera can have 4 cameras all rolling around, watching for hostiles, looking and scouting. It's just amazing. The fact that I can actually plug my hand into the mains and shoot electricity out. I mean, it's just, it's silly, but it's just amazing detail that I think, just today you don't maybe get. I know they have to rush them out, and back then when this game was done, it was a labour of love, but it's like, I guess, car engineering. The cars that are made with love are the ones that are, iconic and last and are great. And I don't think all games are like that. I mean, Minecraft is just another, to harp on about it, is another example of where a labour of love became one of the best games ever made. And it's like, it's just because it's a big, you determine the level and depth of it, and I think that's why I like games like that. And again, you could almost say that Captive's kind of a sandbox as well, because you have a very structured path from mission 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but once you get to mission 3, you then can actually just go straight to mission 6 or 7, because you start to get the ability to actually jump. And also just the fact that you can basically just tool up and run it like an RPG, so you can basically you can just choose your own fate kind of way. And I like that, and I think there's too much prescriptive kind of pathing in games now, and even just take it even further when you look at like movies and that, they're all a bit predictable. Very few people make the kind of crazy movies that just completely throw you from left field to right, but hey, that's the way it is. So yeah, I mean, basically at this point we're almost done with this level. We're just getting now towards the power generators. As you can see, I'm taking a bit of a beating, but reason being is I actually know at the end of this level 2 I can actually upgrade some of my robotic parts, so I'm not too worried about taking damage at this point, although I am quite worried about, let me just make sure I've done this. Yep, so I do need to make sure that I don't die completely. So I'm just going to fix them as best I can now. So yeah, with all the shops, they're all linked, so you can actually just drop so there we go. So I now can actually use fire axes on red, so that's good. So Bitch Hunter is now ready to go, but the problem with him is that he's actually rocking human fit. So if he sees he's only got robotics 1, so that's not good. He's going to die pretty quickly under heavy attack. But hey, and green still can't use them, which is a shame. But hey ho, let's just do what we've got to do. Right, so this next few bits, I think, are now moving towards the now you see, this is it. I've now walked into a trap. Yeah, I'm locked in here with them. Yeah, and this was a bit of a tricky moment, because actually at this point I probably wasn't totally fit to really take on anything. And you can see it's like any, I guess, old school RPG, you know, tile based movement game, where if you get cornered and you get trapped, that's when you die. If you can just keep moving and avoiding as best you can, you stand a chance. But again, some of these enemies, I remember these two, they just took forever to kill. And you can see here, there was a risk I could have got trapped there, but for some reason the green dude wandered off. So I don't know why. I'm glad he did. And then the asparagus attacked me, which is always nice. But again, you know, relying very heavily on the electric, you know, sockets. But as you'll see in the next few missions, they do start to disappear. You don't get as many of them. So my little tactics starting to get flawed. But hey, you know, with fire axes and that, they're pretty decent. They do a good bit of damage, but they're rather slow, so the reload on them is not so good. And then just a few more dudes, and then I should be near power generators. Let's see. Okay, a few more traps. See, again, everything where the Zolt generally opens up a little trap, but generally they're quite weak enemies, so that's not too bad. And here we go. So, and then that opens up my little my route away. So there we go. I can actually now escape. So let's just bring my camera in. So again, just look at that. It's fantastic. I'm actually navigating my camera. Okay, I'm doing it pretty fast here, but so now I can lift up, and there the camera goes. Wonderful. You know, that's amazing stuff. We need more of this sort of stuff. And I know you get sort of like, you know, go to recon, you get sort of this, but to me, it's just, you know, I don't know, there's something about it, I think, that just, I love the kind of detail of it. And again, you look at the optics, there's actually a whole range of optics, and there's a whole range of devscapes, as they call them, which are devices, which then do something. So they're not just visual representations, they're actually functioning devices that do something. So you have shields, you have fire shields, anti-gravity, all this stuff. And again, I don't need them just yet, and they're quite expensive, so I'm not going to buy them just yet. But I do need explosives, though. That's obviously to blow the generators. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I love it. I love the sort of style of it. It only disappoints me, I think, that, you know, Dungeon Master had a huge following and an absolutely, you know, massive modding community associated with it. I'm just gutted that not many people have taken captive, you know, for what it was, which is quite frankly a fantastic product. It would have been great to have been playing like a, you know, a revised version of Captive, like they have done with Dungeon Master, where you can basically go and play whole new levels and, you know, as such. But, you know, that's the way it is. So there we go, that's the generators. We're now ready to blow this joint. Just once this piece of asparagus dies. And then the weird juddering green man, who's maybe had one too many. Now this dude hurt me badly. I don't know why, but it just seems some of the NPCs are just incredibly tough to kill. You can see here I'm laying into this guy, and he's just doing me pretty much a lot of damage. But eventually he goes down, I think. Or maybe I run, I can't remember. Yep, I run. And let the door help me in. But that's it, I love it. Oh man, he hit red pretty hard, that's right, yeah, red was about to die. And then there's the last few. And there's a few things that I do probably need to get. So I think one of them is actually a radar. There's a few devscapes that I've not seen yet. I've probably missed them actually, but so you have the ability to have a radar, which helps massively. And we'll look at that probably in the next mission. But sorry about that, I don't know if I heard my phone go off. Oh well. So yeah, we're buying Tindron Super now. Again, you probably don't know what any of this means, but to me this is like, you know, this is like baseball cards to some kids. This is like, to me, amazing. So I'm buying uprated chests. Now, chests are the thing that give you life, if you wonder why. You can lose your arm, leg, foot, hand, head, and you're still technically alive, but you can, if you lose your chest, that's actually what kills you. So this is why the chest is the most important thing, and that's why I've bought basically 4 super versions of the Tindron one. To be honest, again, there's a fantastic leveling piece to this, because it goes, you know, through many different levels of technology that, you know, even if you finish the first series of missions, which is 10 missions, you won't see a quarter of the technology tree. So again, you have to wonder why they put so much like detail and focus on a huge part of the game that probably nobody ever played, which just again shows you what a labour of love this game must have been. But for those who persist, you really do go through quite an impressive technology tree, because again, from an armor point of view, it goes to many different levels of armor, but it also goes through many different levels of weaponry as well. So you actually go through cannons and so on, and then all the way through to CFC sprays, which sound pretty non-lethal, but actually an amazingly deadly thing. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll be able to show a bit of this. I've got a save. I've just bought a ball. You'll see why they're pretty deadly. They actually do quite a bit of damage. We'll show you that. Okay, so green has now got fire axes, which is awesome because I've now got 4 fire axes up front. So let's blow this joint. So the explosives are in, and any moment now you're going to hear the first of the explosions. I have to leg it all the way out of this place, or it will blow up around me, which is actually pretty cool. I don't know if you see that. No, I'm at the door. So there we go. And thankfully I remembered the code, because if I didn't, it would have blown me up. And there we go. The base is destroyed. So the only thing left to do is to drop my little buddy into space, and then he'll take me to the next one, which is there. So let's sow that. Let's skill up, and let's see how this one goes. Join me next time when we'll do mission 3. I think this one, mission 3 coming, actually has a really strange skill step. So all of a sudden you meet a lot more tougher characters. But hey, that's part of the game. Let's go have some fun. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.